Hey, I am Camden Fiss, and this is my English project, featuring Wab Waldera and Caleb Duke. I decided to make an Instagram account for one of my projects. Here's King Claudius 33 and his mini post and story highlights.
Claudius of Elsinore, thou standest here accused of most foul and unnatural murder. How pleadest thou?
Not guilty, my lord. I am but a victim of grief and suspicion.
Your Honor, the evidence is damning. The late King Hamlet died sudden, healthy one eve, dead by morning. And lo, within weeks this man, his brother, wed the queen and took the crown.
Aye, and more. His ghost walked. My father's spirit did appear to me, chilled with the breath of murder, naming Claudius his killer. Objection. Ghostly testimony is hardly admissible in this or any court.
Sustained, the court requires mortal evidence.
If I may, my lord, I saw the ghost as well, pale and radiant. He told Hamlet the truth. And what of the play?
Indeed, Hamlet staged a play, mirroring the murder as described. Claudius, watching, did rise and flee in guilt.
A play? A trick? I was ill, not guilty.
Then what of the vial of poison found in thy chamber? What of thy prayer, confessing thy sin before heaven?
Oh, my office is rank. It smells to heaven, but must I die for it?
Enough. The court has heard the charges. The witness, the consequence of the troubled soul. The verdict shall now be rendered. Claudius, thou art found guilty for the crime of regicide. Thy crown is forfeit. Prepare to face thy penance.
Well, I didn't know it was fake. With the raw. What's up, everybody? This is Snaky Camden. I'm here with some random guy I found in the street, and we're going to be talking about the Hamlet play. This is for an English project, and welcome back to the Slither podcast. Rob, what is your opinion on Hamlet?
It's really interesting, that this novel, play,
Yes.
from the 1500s, right? And it goes into deep topics like suicide.
You know, right?
Right? Like that, to be not to be.
That's deep right there, bro.
That monologue, right? It's really insightful. It makes you wonder, about Shakespeare. It makes you want to look into his other works.
Exactly. Like, what was that man thinking,
Truly, what's that one movie maker's name? Tarantino. The Tarantino of his time.
Yes.
So, how many acts? 5 acts?
There are 5 complete acts, yes.
And the main character is Hamlet.
Yes.
Hamlet. And then...
along the way, he's had many enemies, from the King Claudius to Laertes, It's a long journey, all the way through.
Right. And, it's really interesting, the plot. How Claudius kills the king. So, you have Norway and Denmark, they fight,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you have senior King Hamlet and I forgot the king of Norway. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
They fight, and it's suspected that they both die in battle. Right? Thornbrod, one of the characters,
Yeah.
he wants to come in and take over Denmark, right? And then, in the first scene or two, Hamlet Jr., our main protagonist, he finds out that Claudius, who is his uncle, had not only poisoned King Hamlet Sr., but had married his wife.
Yeah. Which is wild, That's like marrying your sister-in-law. That's crazy.
Right, bro? It's so weird. And what after?
Well, then Hamlet sees his ghost, right? Sees the ghost of his father after his uncle killed him.
Right. And that's kind of the whole call to action.
Exactly.
Call to action.
Just imagine yourself. You're in the dark alleyway, and and then you see the ghost of your father waving you to him. Like, what would you do in that situation? It's actually wild to think about.
Right. It's like reminds me. You know, when I think of the ghost of King Hamlet Sr., I think of like the Star Wars guys.
Oh yes, yes.
Like Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yes. Giving Luke the wisdom, you know, the strength to go on, you know.
Right. And, you know, after call to action, what? He procrastinates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had a couple of chances to kill Claudius right then and there, right?
I mean, yeah, he's only human after all.
Right.
Like, no one wants, I mean, not everyone, but most people don't just want to kill their uncle without proof. So then Hamlet decides to set up some proof. So of course he makes the play in a play, which, you know, one of the most amazing things that Shakespeare has done. You know, you've never seen it before, but a play within a play.
Playception.
Deep words.
He was playing around with the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets his friend Horatio. Horatio is really the only one. He's like his best bud. He's telling him everything along the way, right? He's vlogging to this dude, right?
Exactly.
And so he makes this play within the play of Hamlet, right? And he reenacts Hamlet Sr.'s death, him being poisoned by Claudius. Right. And Claudius sees this, and this is when we know for sure, right?
Yeah.
He stands up, he calls for the lights. He walks out of the room, and that's pretty good evidence, I do say so myself.
Yes.
Like,
he literally stops the entire play because he's so shocked and terrified of what he sees before him. The grief has hit him so hard that he must walk out of the room.
Right. And then, but even then, you know, Hamlet procrastinates, which is weird.
Yes.
That's where Fortinbras comes in from the start. You know, he looks at Fortinbras and he constantly compares himself to this guy, and he's like, Fortinbras is a man of action. You know, as you see later in the play, when Fortinbras fights the Polish, he sends all those guys to fight for a small little piece of land, right?
Yeah.
And he looks at that and he's like, they're fighting over like this tiny little piece of land, so many people going to die from over nothing.
Practically nothing, like a chunk that's like this small, honestly.
Right. And he looks at that and he's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here wasting my time. I could have killed Claudius when he was praying.
Yes.
Which he didn't want to do. He didn't want to send him to heaven. Even though Claudius, you know, right after Hamlet walked out the room, he was like, did nothing.
Yeah, he literally said,
I'm
yeah. Exactly.
Meanwhile, he can just kill Polonius.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Which he, in fact, does kill Polonius. In the next scene of the same act, Act 3, he goes in to talk to his mother. Polonius comes charging in because Hamlet's acting like a madman, and boom, stabs him.
Mistakes him for vermin.
Exactly. Just some pest he must get rid of. But it turns out Polonius is the father of this man's girlfriend, so it just adds more conflict to the story. You know what I mean?
Then they send their servants, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to look for the body of Polonius. They find Hamlet. They take him to the king to ask questions about where he put Polonius, and he starts getting weird.
Yeah.
And that's like when everyone thinks, oh yeah, he's definitely mad.
Well, that's when the audience itself feels like he's mad. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like all the way from Act 2, everyone thought he was mad with love. You know, and then just mad in general after the play, because now, Claudius is getting some suspicions of Hamlet. He knows my secret. I must kill him, which is why he sent him off to England, you know?
Right. And Rosencrantz and Guildenstern had wrote a letter to the king of England to kill them. That's funny, because Hamlet snuck in, he rewrote the letter to kill Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Not only that, the pirates went and saved them after they raided their ship.
Yeah, the irony in that is hilarious. You go to kill someone, You hand them the letter. How does this man retrieve the letter anyway? Is my question. You know.
Right.
But he retrieves the letter, rewrites it, and then sends them on their way to be killed.
And he gets saved by pirates.
Exactly. Actually, a wild story.
Captain Hook had it going for him.
And then the TikTok croc. And then afterwards, we have Hamlet's now back at the mainland. He's back with the. He's back at Denmark, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's back at Denmark, and
Before this Laertes, right? He was in France, but then he came storming into the king's place because he learned about Polonius's death.
Yes.
He was like,
must have revenge. Yes.
right. And Claudius, he convinced him he was like, hey, it was Hamlet, not me, but I got a plan.
Yeah.
Right? They planned this duel. They're going to fence, and there's going to be this poison chalice, and on top of that, they're going to poison Laertes' foil.
Yes.
So just one nick and he's dead.
Exactly.
It's funny because at the end of the play, everyone's dying of poison.
Yes.
Hamlet has all this time to make his big great speech before he dies.
Yes.
And then everyone basically dies as soon as they get poisoned. Everyone else.
Exactly. So
Really
Laertes and Hamlet both stab each other around the exact same time. Laertes dies like after he says his last words. He's like, "It was Claudius. Claudius did it." Wow. But then Hamlet's going on and on and on. He even forces Claudius to drink from the same cup that killed his mother. So, you know.
Really is interesting, but it is kind of tragic.
It is true.
Really interesting because at the time, like the Romans and all of them, how they taught it was you have the comedies and the tragedies, and they're separate. But Shakespeare, he'd like to mix it up,
Yeah.
like we see in modern movies. Movies, they can be serious and they can have a little bit of comedy, like Deadpool,
Yeah.
Macho Libre.
Mm-hmm. Top tier movies.
Right. And it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
how when I think of the 1500s, I think of peasants, bro.
Swear.
Like people farming
Yeah.
and like kings and knights. I don't think of like people making detailed
Yeah, you don't see them being really creative. You don't see them being poets or artists. You see either the farmers, the laborers, the slaves, or you see the kings. There's only two ups and downs. You don't see the in between.
right.
The people just trying to make a living, trying to stay above the water.
It's really interesting. It makes you think what else was out there at that time that we just lost.
Exactly. Yes. It's actually so wild to think. Yeah.
You think if we transported Shakespeare to our modern time with our technology, I only wonder what he would have created, dude.
I know. If only he was able to experience life as it is now, I wonder how his works would be impacted and influenced, Just be wild to think. Shakespeare could have wrote the next movie. He could be a playwright, legitimately.
I mean, hey, that's Hamlet.
That's Hamlet right there. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If this is in this Proud's classroom, everyone say hi. Yes. And we will see you next time on the Slither Podcast. Snakey Camden is out.
Peace out.
With the raw.